What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Scary Hour. This is the first back-to-back in weeks of uploading, so we're gonna try it out. We're gonna see how it goes. You guys let me know if you like it, if you like this consistency. And this past week, a lot of stuff actually came out, so this is another reason why I actually wanted to do this. If I would have done it next week, it would have been old news by then. At least now it's more relevant. It makes more sense, and yeah. But the main thing that I wanted to bring up in this entire podcast is what's happening in Cuba. Cuba is currently going through a 62-year-old regime who a lot of people in Cuba wanted to end. The majority of the people who live there, who are Cubans, they flee Cuba because of this regime. I don't know really specifics of why it is that they wanted to end. I'm just now getting started with political stuff, so bear with me if you probably think I'm just an idiot. You're right. So just bear with me on this whole conversation, and I'm just gonna talk about it very lightly because I myself don't know much. The research that I did was very minimal, just because I don't want to get everything mixed up. I would rather talk to somebody who fully knows about this, who is Cuban, and get their full perspective on everything, what it is to live in Cuba, what it is to be Cuban, and especially Cuban American. I heard those aren't not really popular in Cuba. So anyways, protests broke out in Cuba this past week. It's been going on all week because of the deteriorating living conditions. It's lack of basic goods and services, including medical services as well. In the middle of their outbreak during this whole pandemic, they're currently going through a severe outbreak, and the COVID infections are really high in Cuba currently. Obviously, because of protesting, and also because I guess maybe they're just now getting it really badly. But they're not getting basic living goods and services. So this is one of the main reasons why they're protesting. Obviously, the U.S., Joe Biden says they're going to stand and try to do something about this. I don't really understand what this administration is going to do, because honestly, this administration has just been so quiet. They made big news and big, quote unquote big moves at the beginning of the election, or when the elections were over, rather. But ever since, it's just been very quiet. It's been very I don't know. I feel like it's very stagnant. I feel like with Donald Trump, at least the moves were getting done. But we just got to live through it to really understand it. It's very unfortunate what's happening in Cuba. I hope all of my Cubans are doing fine, and with the work of everyone in the world who's willing to help, we can actually make a difference. I don't know how, but as long as you as an individual do your job to do the research and really educate ourselves, more than what we already know, more than what the mainstream media shows, then we're doing more than enough to just educate ourselves and put ourselves in a position where we can actually help in some way, shape, or form. So I really encourage you guys to really look into this whole thing that's going on over there, and I stand with Cuba. I stand with what they're going through. I feel for what they're going through, and I could only imagine what they're going through. So to all of my Cubans out there, mucho amor de República Dominicana and New York. So I think that's the first time I ever spoke Spanish in the first 6 episodes of Scary Hour. So don't get your panties wet. Oh, man. In other news, this past weekend, I don't use Twitter, but old news from Twitter eventually makes it onto Instagram. And that's what I usually mainly use. And supposedly, Joel Osteen. If you guys don't know who Joel Osteen, he's a pastor. He has a religious institution, and I think he's a charitable foundation. You know, he's a pastor. I don't know much about him. I heard good and bad things about him, but he is a pastor, and people were outraged. People were talking about his vehicle, which is a $325,000 Ferrari 458 Italia. That's the name of the Ferrari. And also, just because he owns it, they were really outraged at the fact that he owns that, and also the fact that he had a $4.4 million loan from the PPP loan. So, you know, a lot of people, a lot of businesses have needed the help of the government. And a lot of these businesses were able to get their PPP loans in order to keep their businesses still afloat, in order to pay their employees. And I believe that in order for you to get the PPP loan, you have to have fewer than 500 employees. So, you know, what Joel Osteen does, he's, religious institutions and charitable foundations are considered a business, guys. You can't get outraged by that. I've seen a lot of people comment under the post that I've seen about this to, tax churches, which I guess is a way to do it. I mean, in a situation like this specifically, and I've always heard it even before this whole pandemic, for people to why not tax churches? So I guess that's I'm for that. Why not tax churches? I don't really understand why small businesses get taxed and churches don't, and what they collect is ridiculous amounts of money, like unfathomable amounts of money. Like, I don't think you will ever hear me say that word again, because I just fucking butchered the shit out that word. But yeah, guys, it is a business. It is considered a business. There were no requirements to show that your business was affected by COVID when you would, sign up for the PPP loan. I remember myself going back to when this first was prevalent, like when it first came out, people first started finding out about what PPP loan is. And at the moment, I was working on a clothing company that I wanted to create for myself. Well, not for myself, but on my own. And I tried to apply for it, but I had less than 500 employees. So, but eventually, unfortunately, I got declined for whatever reason. So, and I remember there being no requirements that talked about anything COVID affected related, you know. So I don't know. I guess people, you know, they're just hating. You know, I like to go with sources like The Hill, for, you know, my news, a lot of my news, and they themselves were just saying, like, who are we to be saying that, you know, Joel Osteen and his company can't, or his business can't be applied for the PPP loan. You know, who are we to say that? He has people, you know, who are his employees, and those people rely on that job to supply and provide for their families. So it's like, if he meets the requirements, hey man, you can't bash him. He has to, you know, everybody has to do what they got to do in order to keep their business afloat at a situation like this. You know what I think it is, though? I think people have too much time to themselves. I get it that a lot of people are currently, you know, out of work. But it's been a year now. And for you to just stay home and not clear your mind out of all of that negativity that you have brewing in there, rightfully so, because that's what happens to your mind when you're just in one spot doing nothing, or doing very little. That's what eventually ends up happening. That's how people go crazy. So I don't really understand how you, at this point, a year into the pandemic, you as an individual haven't looked for ways to better yourself, haven't looked for ways to keep yourself occupied, even if you are employed. I don't know. You know, go out for a run every day. You know, that doesn't hurt you. If it makes you better, physically, mentally, it clears your mind. And it's actually, running is an exercise for your heart. It prevents you from cardiovascular disease and from the risks of you catching a stroke or going through a stroke lessen, because you decided to go for a run every day, or majority of the days of the week. So I don't know. I feel like a lot of people are bored, bro. A lot of people just be with it to just immediately just start bashing people. And, you know, don't get me wrong. You feel me? Like, I myself see a lot of little scammy stuff from pastors and these big name dudes that just be out here, you know, cashing checks. Because the checks that Joel Osteen is cashing, aside from this PPP loan shit, is ridiculous. Like, hey, man. But that's what it is. Once you do your research in there and you really look into, you know, these little things and these little ways that they get away with a lot of shit, like these little things that they get away with, you start to think like, bro, this shit ain't fair. Like, these motherfuckers be out here. I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to become a pastor or a priest or you know, that level of ranking, for you to like get away with mad shit. You feel me? And then, I don't know. So there's just so many negative people in the world, bro. It's like, try to look at shit and situations from a different light, from a different point of view. If it was you who was in his position, you would do the same. A lot of people may think, why not just grab from your savings? You have a lot of money. Why not just grab from your checking account, your bank accounts, and just feed your employees that way? Then what's the point of the PPP loan then? I don't understand that argument. What's the point of the PPP loan if that's literally the point of the PPP loan? It's for you as a business owner not to grab from your own funds, from your own money, Come on, guys. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Who am I? You know, I'm just this guy behind the mic that y'all barely know, who doesn't have a platform, who's trying to create one for himself, talking shit. And maybe this is why I'll probably never get a platform or some shit like that. But hey, that's just, I'm here to speak my mind. That's what I'm speaking. And if you don't like it, take it for either what it is or get the fuck out of here, you know? So that's Joel Osteen whole thing on Twitter. I seen it on Instagram. It came from Twitter. For the 1% supposedly of the people that, yo, you know what's funny? Now that I even mentioned Twitter, they be people that be talking about, oh, only 1% of the population is on Twitter. And it's like, okay, I mean, if you do the research, probably you'll see like the amounts of accounts that are on Twitter or whatnot. But that 1%, yo, y'all be really doing a lot. There's half of that 1% be jacking, they never be on Twitter. But then again, when you hear them talking about a story, it always comes from Twitter. Or they saw it on Twitter. So you telling me out of all the days that you don't go on Twitter, that one day you go on Twitter, you see mad other shit, like mad of these news trending, like, oh, I saw it on Twitter, this and the third. And then later on, going to be talking about like, oh, I really don't even spend time on Twitter. But I be cabbing, bro. I personally never be on Twitter. I literally check Twitter like twice a month. And that's because I just don't know how to work Twitter. Like, Twitter's just so weird to me. And I do like what they do a little bit, you know, where they're like very free with a lot of shit. But then also they're not, kind of. I don't really know how the fuck they work. I don't know. For y'all Twitter heads, I don't know. I really don't understand. It's like they ban you for certain like freedom of speech shit, for speaking your mind, but they don't ban you for posting your asshole. That's really how I know Twitter. There's nothing else I really know. They banned Trump, which is a sort of a freedom of speech infringement. We live in America, and I get it. You feel me? Like these social media companies are like, you know, their own, or platforms that their own, you know, they have their own owners and shit, and the owners go by a certain policy, and you have to follow that policy if you want to create an account and not get banned. But it's like, what was the point of you? I don't know. I don't know where I was going with the whole, that was a point of view, but I just don't understand. I feel like as a government, once you see that a platform is coming out, you should establish this like your own policy as a government, as the U.S. government, and just like let these companies know, or these platforms know, like, yo, okay, you can do whatever you want as long as you don't infringe nobody's freedom of speech or like ban somebody for saying something. Like, I don't fuck with that. And that's a lot of shit that's happening. It happens everywhere. It just doesn't happen on Twitter. It happens in Twitter and Instagram. Facebook is a big proponent of that shit. And it's like, you know, we still use these platforms. You know, YouTube does the same thing. We still use these platforms because, you know, I want to get my voice heard. I want people to, I want to, you know, tackle a certain audience. So I have to do what I got to do. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that I'm completely for what the fuck is going on. Like, this shit it's trash. Feel me? But we are well aware of it. That's just the reason why I'm talking about it. Is because for those who are not aware of it, I want to open your eyes and literally put you on to what's going on. And also letting the platform know, like, yo, we see what y'all doing. Like, we see that y'all be on some infringement shit, and we see that y'all be on some funny shit with this freedom of speech shit. Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to tell all of my followers to meet me in fucking Union Square, and I'm gonna be there with fucking a fucking a microphone and thousands of speakers, literally telling everyone what I would like to say, like that I don't get banned from a certain platform. So it's little stuff like that that kind of worries me about the future of social media and platforms and shit like that, and just the internet in general. But I don't know. That's my little rant about social media. Joel Osteen in Cuba. But yeah, guys. I mean, there's more things we got to talk about. Oh, really quick, I just really want to bring up the video that's surfacing of Nicholas Cruz, the guy that killed 17 people, the gunman that killed 17 people at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School back in 2018. There was a video of him surfacing the web of him whooping or like going at a guard in the prison he's in. And it just goes to show, like, I mean, I'm happy they didn't give him like the whole, yo, this man is crazy. Like, you know what they do to white people always, every time they shoot up a school, they just chuck it up to, oh, it's just mental illness, you know, it's mental illness. It's no problem. It's a problem, but you know, we're gonna just put him in. We're not gonna put him in prison. We're gonna put him somewhere else. He's just gonna be by himself. Nah, he's just gonna be by himself. But in reality, it's like they don't have the same energy with colored people. But yeah, he just lunged at a. I don't know why. I don't know if they had like an argument or some shit like that. But it just goes to show how happy he's in there. He's very happy in there, guys. He's like, he probably wanted to go for a hug, and then the cop just probably was like, yo, what the fuck you doing? You feel me? And he was just probably really excited that day. It's probably his birthday. I don't know. I don't know. We should probably all write him a letter and just be like, tell him like happy birthday or some shit. And just have him mad confused. Or like, I don't know. I don't know, y'all. I just seen that shit. I want to share it with you guys. Because it just goes to show how horrible of a time he's having in prison. And I'm so happy he's in prison. I'm really happy he's in prison. And like how young he is. Like, it's ridiculous. I think when he went to jail, he was like 19 or some shit like that. Probably even younger. I don't really remember well, but I remember him being very young. And I seen another incident as well earlier this week. Oh, this weekend. This past weekend that where like this 24-year-old was waiting to just snatch up a kid here in I forgot what borough it was in, but it was in New York. I think it was Manhattan. But it was definitely in New York. And excuse me. And he like got out the car and literally snatched like some kid out of this woman. And it was this woman and like 2 or 3 other of her kids. And he didn't drive off like fast enough. So fortunately, like the woman was able to rip the baby back out, or the kid, the toddler, back out of the freaking car. But it was ridiculous because it was like some other man with the 24-year-old that tried to kidnap the child. Like, there was some other white dude there. I don't know what the fuck, Spanish dude, whatever. He was lighter complexion. And he didn't look like he was doing anything. He looked like he was literally just like in the car. Like, it almost looked like he told the dude to go and snatch somebody, and I'm gonna just be here with you to see that you actually did it. Because even when the woman was ripping the kid off, you could tell the guy wasn't really kind of doing anything. But it was weird as fuck. It was like, what is going on, bro? It was like, and he was 24. When I seen his age, I was like, bro, 24 years old, bro. I'm 23. Like, it just goes to show how stupid people are and just the things that people do. Gladly though, he's in custody. He's in, he's getting trialed and shit. So that's good to know. You feel me? He's not just another dickhead off the streets. But bro, it's like you're 24 years old. You just threw your whole the little bit of your youthfulness away that you had left. So yeah. So I seen a post. I said, it was talking about recent housing reports reveal that full-time minimum wage employees are unable to afford rent anywhere in the U.S. And obviously, for all of you or all of us minimum wage workers, we been knew this. We've been in tune. We've been like, yo, bro, we can barely fucking survive with this shit. We can't pay rent with this shit. But before, I feel like people used to be like, yo, we could barely pay our rent. Like, people used to be like, yo, we could barely pay our rent and have extra money for food and shit like that. But now it's like, but I feel like motherfuckers were just being nice when they was talking like that. And now, finally, it's, people are actually seeing the fact that, we really we have to live together type shit in order for us to like pay the rent. I would have to like live with somebody else. There's a reason why I live with my parents still. It's obviously because I can't afford my own bills. And it's like literally for an apartment the size of my room, I'd pay a month what I would get from work in a month. If I get paid weekly, all of my 4 weeks within that month go straight to that small ass apartment. And I guess, that's given obviously from where we live, which is where I live personally, which is New York. But it's like, you would like to think that everywhere else they pay $15 an hour, right? But that's not the case. There's still places where they're getting paid $7.50. What the fuck is that? I'm pretty sure, yes, the rent over there is $700 a month. I get that. But that's how much they get a month as well. So it's like I'm going to a different place to then work a minimum wage job and be in the same predicament. Like, especially if it's like fucking like a whole different state that's trasher than New York City. I'm gonna be really depressed. I'm gonna be really tired. I can't get my bacon and cheese from the store. I can't just go downstairs to buy something. I have to drive somewhere. I can't link my friends. I can't spend time. I have to like really pick out a date of the week to spend time with my friends or anybody I'm cool with, just because everybody lives so fucking far. Hell no. Like, fuck all that. You bugging out. But yeah, at least it's getting spoken about. I mean, I just saw a little quick report on it on social media. It was nothing big. It was just like, okay, we've been knew this. I mean, at least it's getting, more awareness, but the fuck is that gonna do? Like, take out a PPP loan for that. Or HPP, whatever. Housing Protection Program, whatever. To provide and help people around the U.S. pay their rent. I think they have that, though. I think they have something like that. But, it's like, motherfuckers don't be knowing, bro. Like, don't be knowing what kind of loans they be out here. You have to really dig deep in order for you to find these loans. It's not like do that same, have that same energy you have with these commercials on TV and shit like that with PPP loan. I mean, with loans. Advertise it in the same way. Like, what's up? Do that. For people in the older generation who don't know how to use Google yet, or still, or just people, just to let people know. It's almost like you have to like really search deep into these things and like really look into these shits and really be like, okay, let me really like focus on really like looking at what kind of loans are in here or are around. What if you don't have somebody that knows how to look for shit like that, and it's just you? You don't know who to ask. You don't know what the requirements are. Everything is always 28 papers deep, 28 pages deep. Like, make it easy access for people. I don't know. But then again, do your research. Feel me? So I guess it goes both ways, like it's either you want it or you don't. Like, come on, get with the program. Feel me? Like, we have social media, use it as a tool and go crazy on it. And it's that simple. But supposedly within today and I guess tomorrow or the day after tomorrow by the time of this recording, we would have experienced a powerful solar storm. I read this news a little under a week ago. I haven't seen shit. I mean, it was really hot in New York like a couple days ago. For like 2 days straight, it was like fucking 90 something degrees, and it felt like 105 or some shit. Like, it was really, really hot. And I'm not gonna front though. I also read somewhere, I don't know exactly where I read it, but I remember reading it, that our phones was gonna start acting up. Our phone calls was gonna start acting up, and just like the connections and shit with satellites was gonna like your TV, your cable news outlets are gonna start acting up, and rightfully so. I mean, I don't watch TV, but on my phone, I was trying to talk on the phone, and shit was not going through. I was getting tight. I had to use FaceTime audio, which I never use, but even that was the best communication that I could have with the person I was talking to, rather than regular phone call. So, yeah, there goes that. You feel me? I guess it really did go down, but I thought it was just gonna be something else, honestly. If it's not that, I don't know what it is, but I think it is. I think it was that. And before it even happened, when I read the news of it talking about a powerful solar storm, I'm thinking it was some shit. Like, I'm thinking we about to see some shit on the sky. Like, we gonna actually see the solar storm or whatnot. But I guess it was just the heat. So, there's that. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have much except for some basketball news, NBA news. I like to leave those at the end though. I like to get things out of the way just to talk about them, and then like really get into sports talk. But GTA 6 officially announced that it will come out in 2025. GTA 5 came out in 2013, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. 2013. So 12 years later, GTA 6, I'm getting it. A lot of people like to say they're not gonna get it, but a lot of y'all be lying. I'm gonna be a couple years away from 30, and I'll still get it. I'll be in my mid 30s, and I'll still get whatever GTA 8, whatever GTA 7. The way these fucking shits be dropping, GTA 7, and y'all like to complain a lot about, oh, why is it taking so fucking long? Jesus Christ, and a whole decade with this game out already, and we still haven't gotten anything. But you do have to think about the fact that, for example, they came out with GTA 5 in 2013, but then like 2017 or 18, I forgot when Red Dead Redemption came out, but they also hit us up with Red Dead Redemption. So I can't say nothing, bro. And the games be good, bro, and they be mad update. Maybe tonight, I don't know about Red Dead Redemption, what their updates be, but with GTA, there's every year you will see an update. You know, that you got tired of the game, that's different. That they're not doing the job is also different. Because they are. Because that's the reason why we still buy them. Until this day, they sell millions of copies of GTA 5. So, you know, y'all could talk all y'all want, but at the end of the day, it's only because we're tired of the same scenarios. We had to create, like, we as people had to even create our own, like, RP world where you role play and you act like you're working and you're doing everything that you do in real life. So that's how boring it got. Everybody passed all the missions, the online missions. Feel me? I think with this one, I'm gonna do it different. With this one, I'm gonna actually complete everything. Like, obviously story mode and also multiplayer, like online. Because I remember I used to skip through shit. Like, I used to on online, I used to skip through missions. Like, I would do the missions that I only like to do. So with GTA 6, I'm gonna treat it different. I'm actually like I'm gonna turn into a whole completionist with GTA 6. So I don't know, because I know it's gonna take time, and so if y'all gonna take your time making the games, I'm gonna take my time completing the game. Fuck it. So you feel me? Like, I don't know, but I'm excited for it. I mean, it's 4 years away, but I'm excited for it because I just am. I'm ready for something new. I really like the Red Dead Redemption that they came out with, but you quickly grow like tired of that game just because I don't know. It's like kind of like it feels limiting compared to GTA 5. So there's that news with that. Now, sports talk. Now we're gonna get into sports talk. So this past weekend, let me just look at this real quick, as you guys see it as well. Somebody commented under a post saying Bucks and Suns are giving the best NBA finals we've seen since 2016. I just hope we get a game 7. And when I read that, I immediately thought, yo, that's a fact. You feel me? Like, I haven't really been watching the finals of 2021, like these finals. And that's just because there's a completely brand new team. I really don't know shit about the teams until recently. And then, like, I didn't watch a game until game 5. So, and that was only because LeBron was there. Feel me? So, and a lot of other celebrities were there as well. And just the intensity of the game, like, and the significance of it, like, yo, whoever wins this goes up 3-2. Like, so it was that as well, that aspect of it. But if you were to ask me a week and a half ago, if you watching the NBA, I would have been like, nah, I'm not watching this shit. Anyways, KD decided to reply under that comment and goes, Warriors Cavs is great. 2017 is greater than that. And I'm like, bruh, this motherfucker's always trying to kind of like minimize the impact that he had with the Warriors in his decision into joining the Warriors. You joined a 73-9 team, bro. That whole year, the Cavs, I think they came out second in the East, and it was only because Kevin Love was battling throughout the entire season, or a majority of the season. Kevin Love was battling with like a whole like shoulder thing because the year before, I don't know if you guys remember, but Kelly Olynyk pulled his shirt, his fucking arm or whatnot. That whole shit. He was still battling with that, even a year and a half later. He was still battling with that whole shit, and there were reports of it, like of he would miss games and shit like that. He'll exit games early and shit like that because of that. And then like after game 1 of 2017 finals, Kyrie gets injured. I think he left like middle of the game in game 1. But anyways, let me keep reading what he wrote, what he said. The guy replied, unbalanced stacked decks are automatically disqualified. He added KD and he said that. And KD was like, perfectly even match, fam. Top to bottom. And I looked at the roster myself. You know, and as an outsider who didn't watch the finals, you would think paper to paper, it makes sense. You wouldn't think it actually makes sense paper to paper, the players who are on there. But you don't sit to think what were the possibilities of why the fuck the Cavs got blown out. And one of those was injuries. Now, don't get me wrong. The Cavs had a stronger bench than the Warriors. But you have to think about it. It's Steph, Clay, crazy motherfucking Draymond, and now KD against LeBron James and supporting casts. Literally. Kevin Love played a little bit. And even then he shot horribly. And then Kyrie was out. J.R. Smith, Henny God, literally like the third best player. Evenly matched? On paper, I say so. How it turned out to be? No. Maybe ideally, that's what we would have all wanted. For everybody to be healthy, for everybody to be chilling and be like, okay, you know, actually gonna see like, yeah, KD joined the Warriors, but like they still got Kyrie, they still got Kevin Love, and they're all healthy. LeBron James never misses a game in the finals, so he's healthy, and Jay got JR, and they also had the reason I say they had a strong bench was because they had Darren Williams as a backup point guard who was not that bad for them. They had what's his name? They had a veteran leadership as well on the bench. They had Kyle Korver still. They had if I'm not mistaken, they had I forgot the name. They had a lot of people. And they could go deep. So at any moment they could just grab somebody. If one person isn't working out on guarding, I don't know, Iguodala, they could just pull that person out and put in another player. We were deep. The Cavs was deep. But the only difference was injuries. And it's I don't know. It's you know, he's always trying to minimize like how strong the Warriors were. And then the circumstances of the opposing team. Just to make his, like, I don't know, to make his rings count, I guess. Or like to try to like, because he probably thinks that, you know what I think it is? I think that he probably thinks that people are thinking of it as closed-minded as possible. Just because they trying to, quote unquote, I don't know, guys, hate on him. But that's not the case, my dude. Like, if you look at it in paper, you're going to know that. You're going to think, okay, what you think, which is like, oh, you know, it's evenly matched. Run it up. Like, it's evenly matched. You could run that again. But you don't think about aspects of who was healthy, who was not. Literally, the only person who was hurt in the Warriors was the coach. Steve Kerr was currently going through some injury there. He can sit down and coach from the bench. You don't got to get up. I don't know, man. Always trying to minimize shit. Always trying to like take away, do the little takeaways and shit like that. And that's not going to happen, fam. It's not. And then like Draymond for some reason lit up. Like he was really fucking playing great in that finals. Like I just remember him making bucket after bucket after bucket. Like he was wilding, shooting 5 threes in a row. Like he didn't miss. He was bugging out, and it was just unusual shit like that was happening. And it was, I don't know, it was crazy. But you know, it's some bullshit. You feel me? Like it was some bullshit going on all throughout that whole shit, and yeah, it's just KD being KD, like always. But before we get up out of here, this podcast, this episode was actually, I felt like it was just really unprepared. So I don't know, it feels very unprepared, and rightfully so. But I hope you guys had a great weekend. There's rumors that Damian Lillard will be leaving the Portland Trailblazers. Now, he put an end to all that cap, and he said, yo, I ain't never say nothing. I haven't made any decisions. I haven't spoken about anything regarding me leaving Portland. Like, don't listen to what these motherfuckers be saying. So, yeah, it could be cap. But if he leaves later on this year, there was never cap to that. You probably just waiting to see what money coming through. Now, I don't blame him. Do as you should, King. This has been another episode of Scary Hour. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you again next week or possibly the week after. Still trying to decide. So I'm sorry, guys. I'm still trying to decide whether I'm doing this weekly or bi-weekly. I honestly feel like it works best bi-weekly just because I'm more prepared. But yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had a great weekend. See you on the next one.